Okay, here we go. This is a practice problem help video for Algebra 2 on absolute value equations. Why don't we just look at some of these odd problems together. Keep in mind your steps to solving absolute value equations. First step is remove anything outside the absolute value bars. So for 1, 3, and 5, that first step is already done for you. Step 1.5 I added was determine if there's a solution. So for number 1, we have something coming out of these absolute value bars as negative. That is not possible. This is no solution. Okay? All right, number 3. Will there be a solution on this one? Yes, because this is positive. So we're going to set up two equations. We're going to remove the absolute value bars. Okay, and we're going to, the first step is really easy, and then the second one, we just set it up equal to its opposite, which would be negative 9/16. Oops, there we go. Yikes, there we go. 3/4 p. All right. So we've got the two equations. We're going to solve them both the same way. All we need to do is multiply by the reciprocal. And we cross cancel here. If you're not comfortable with that, if we were to multiply this straight across, it'd be 3 times 4, which is 12, and 4 times 3 on the bottom, that's 12 over 12. Those 12 over 12 reduces down to 1, so that's how we get p. But hopefully you just recognize that they cross cancel and it's equal to 1. All right? So you multiply by 4/3 on one side, you got to do it on the other side. And again, you can make this really, certainly you can use your calculator, and you should use a calculator, but if you want to do this shorthand, you can do it this way. Cross cancel. You're kind of like reducing, cross canceling by 4s. This one you're going by 3s. And so we're going to get 3/4 here, which means we're doing the same thing over here. Multiplying by the reciprocal, this side cancels out, and we should get, the only thing difference here is this would be a negative 3/4. Okay, number 5, I'll show you guys two ways to do this. Well, one way, I can just tell you, one way is you could simply use your calculator, and this is just subtraction, or it will be eventually just subtraction. You can certainly set up two equations, r plus 11/4, 7/4, and then set up the other one to its opposite. And you can just subtract 11/4 on your calculator. That would be fine. But we could, which would be, 7 minus 11, which is negative 4 over 4. Keep the same denominator, which reduces down to negative 1. You can certainly do that. But what we could do is, remember from the last couple weeks here, is if we have common denominators of 4, right, what we could do is multiply this whole thing out by 4. Remember, like the least common multiple, they're both 4s, so we could just multiply these out and make this 4 times 1r, which would mean this would be 4r. These would essentially cancel, and you get plus 11. And then you'd do the third distribution, and this would cancel out, and you'd get 7. And that way you're not dealing with fractions. So if you want to do that, you certainly could. But you can absolutely just use a calculator if you want to use the fractions. But honestly, that might be a little bit faster. I can show you guys, but I show you guys a version of that with number 6 here. So we have, let's first start with, are we going to have a solution here? Yes, we are, because this is a positive 5. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove the absolute value bars. We're going to get negative 2/5 x is equal to 5. And then we're going to do the same thing, negative 5 halves, I should say, is equal to negative 5. Okay, and we're going to solve these the exact same way. Or what we could do is just multiply this by 2, and then this will cancel out, and you're going to get negative 5x is equal to 10. And you divide by negative 5, divide by negative 5, and you get x is equal to negative 2. All right, so we should get this one equal to positive 2 if we do it the other way, right? If I multiply this by negative 2/5, the reciprocal, this will cancel out, and I multiply this side by negative 2/5, we're going to get negative 2 times negative 5, that's positive 10 over 5, that reduces down to positive 2, and that's usually the case when we have no other steps to do. So we got x could either equal negative 2 or positive 2. Okay. All right, let's go back to number 7. Doing the odds, I give you an extra even problem here, so I'm going to go back to the odds. First thing I need to do, this first step, which we were skipping for the last few problems because there was nothing outside the absolute value bars. Now there is, so before we do anything, we need to get rid of this positive 10 or plus 10. We do so by doing the inverse operation on both sides. So we're left with the absolute value of 6 plus r is equal to 14 minus 10 is 4. Now you check, is there going to be solutions? Sure is. So we're just going to do 6 plus r is equal to 4. And 6 plus r is equal to negative 4. Solve those two equations. All right, you guys can do that. Let's do this one here. Number 9. First thing I want to do, make sure we notice this. Well, we have to go in reverse PEMDAS order because we're undoing an operation. So I need to do not divide by 5 first. Okay, that's wrong. We need to go kind of backwards here. We're going reverse order inverse operation. So we have addition here. I need to subtract. And so this side will cancel. I get negative 40 over here. Just going to update this problem. All right. Now I divide. I get 5. This side cancels out. I get the absolute value of 6n minus 2 is equal to negative 8. Now I can move on to step 1.5. Is there going to be a solution? No, this is negative. So nothing's going to come out of this absolute value bar as negative. So this is no solution. Okay. All right, let's do the other odd ones here. 11 and 13. Okay, so 11. My thing's a little too big. I'm going to make this a little smaller. Here we go. All right. First thing I want to do for 11 is subtract 9. Subtract 9. This side cancels. I get 87 over here. And so now I'm left with 3 times the absolute value of negative 1 minus 7x is equal to 87. Now I want to divide by 3, and that equals 29. So I get the absolute value of negative 1 times negative 7x is equal to 29. Now I can move on to step 1.5. Is there going to be a solution? Yes, there is, because this is positive. So now I'm going to remove the absolute value bars and solve two equations. One to the number itself, and one set up equal to its opposite, which would just be negative 29. Okay, so the first thing I want to do here is add 1, and I'm going to get negative 7x is equal to 30. Divide this by negative 7, divide this by negative 7, and kind of an ugly answer here. We're going to get positive 1x is equal to negative 30 over 7. That's reduced down. We can leave it as an improper fraction, that's fine. And then we're going to add 1 to the next equation. Add 1 on both sides. We're doing the same operations, right? And we're going to get negative 28. Divide by negative 7, divide by negative 7. And we're left with x is equal to positive 4. So there's our two options for x. All right. All right, moving on. 13. Ooh, this is a good one to do. This is going to be kind of a unique one. First thing I want to do is move anything outside the absolute value bars, which would be this subtract 1. So we need to add 1, and we're left with the absolute value of 6 plus 2b is equal to 0. Okay, and so you might think we want to call this no solution, but 0 is not a negative number. And if you remember from our formula in the beginning there, this c term had to just be greater than 0. So it can be 0. All right, so we can just go ahead and remove the bars here. We're going to get negative 6 plus 2b is equal to 0. We just have to do this once because there's no positive 0 or negative 0. We can just do this once. All right, so we're just going to add 6 on both sides. 0 plus 6 is 6. Divide by 2, and you get b is equal to 3. So we only have one answer there for 13. That's a pretty rare case. I don't think I have any like that on the test. Okay, that is all I got for you. Hopefully you guys can try these other half of the problems that I haven't done yet. I know that this is an area or a content matter that students struggle with. So if this doesn't make sense to you, please meet me on a Google Meet and I will help you with every one of these problems if you need it. Okay? Good luck.